Hi, and welcome to Q&A with Megan. I'm Megan, and today our Q&A session is focused on love in Lent. Getting into our first question, which is, how can we be open to more love from God? All right, so we all pretty much know and are used to the good feelings that are associated with happy times, easygoing experiences, and moments in which it's pretty simple and straightforward to feel love from God because we simply feel good and energized and joyful. Now, I want to discuss a little bit how we can experience God's love through the more difficult, challenging times that seem a little bit more full of hopelessness and confusion, despair, whatever these unpleasant kind of negative feelings tend to be sometimes. So how do we feel God's love in these more difficult situations that we encounter? Well, I want to say that I believe God wants us to expand our reach and our possible ability to experience God's love in so many different kinds of situations and experiences. God is trying to, I believe, stretch us, stretch our minds and our hearts, our souls and our awareness to just really be able to behold and embrace God's love in all sorts of different forms and experiences and situations that we can encounter. Now, I believe that God wants us to go through these harder times and embrace God's love in more challenging type of ways because God wants us to experience God in every possible situation that we can come across. How amazing and joyful would life be if we could actually say that that was the case for us, that we could actually confess that we encounter God in all of it. I believe that in the times when it is hardest to experience God's love, we must take courage. We must really push through and try to identify what we can possibly enjoy through the circumstance that we find ourselves in, through this challenging situation that we are in currently, and to have a certain hope that while things don't seem to be working out perfectly in this moment, that they will eventually unfold to something beautiful and, can we just say, perfect in God's plan for us and for the rest of existence to simply just live through. Now, I know it's easier said than done, but again, this whole process takes courage, and that's important to remember because, of course, it's easier to just sit in our negative feelings and wallow in them and just feel the overwhelming darkness and despair that may come over us when we are feeling down and feeling like nothing's working out. But we can turn with hope and try to identify where God is calling us in that moment, what God wants us to place our attention on, and then work with an intention that we set to further emphasize what is good and what is hopeful about these situations. So what it takes really is practice, commitment, and just this trust, really, that amidst it all, through everything, God is there loving us, and God really desires to, again, stretch and expand our capacity to embrace and encounter and enjoy the love that God has to share. So I could get into that more and more deeply, but I think I want to move on to our next question, which has to do a little bit more with how we can share this love from God with other people. So the next question is, how can we experience God's love with others? It's important to remember that everyone loves in a different way. Everyone's created differently. Everyone knows how to and wants to love in a unique, authentic way. So it is important to try to accept this reality and to not take things so personally when we experience someone else loving in a way that doesn't at first seem familiar to us. It's crucial to be able to identify how God's love is working within our souls and then to share this love fully, authentically, and joyfully with people around us. And we can do this through spending time in prayer, getting used to God's presence in our souls, what it feels like to be at peace and to feel joy, and then to go out into the world and practice living that out and bringing that positive intention, that energy that really just exudes a sense of compassion and a sense of willingness to do what's good for others. And so if we have that mindset, that framework, that intention and motivation, really, like, we're going to be fine. And when we share that love with others, the love that we experience from God, the love that we remember are practicing to behold and to embrace and enjoy from God, then the more that we can be an example of love and overflow with love to share with other people in our lives. So it is all so intricately connected, this love from God and this love that we experience ourselves and the love that we have to offer. So it all works. It's all sort of a beautiful experience and this totally beautiful opportunity to grow and to just be ready to face anything in this world, because really all of it is imbued with this perfect goodness and love that stems from God's love for all of creation, that stems from who God is, which is love itself. So take care on your journeys, take care of yourself, and keep connecting with God in your own way, and keep being authentic in the way that you relate your love, God's love, to other people. And make sure to check out all of the Lenten offerings that First Church Madison has on its website and Facebook page. And know we are here for you, and that you are in good care because you are in God's care. So God bless, have a beautiful week, and I will see you next time for another Q&A. Bye.